Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, and you are watching the CD Junkie. Welcome to the first episode of Destination Discogs. Now, I have a Discogs account. I haven't added too much to it lately. I will put a link to my Discogs account in the description box below. You know, I don't ever ask for money on this channel, and I'm not going to now. I'm not going to start. I'm going to do it the way that I feel is probably the best way, and that's, you know, I have a second job, so I'm earning a little bit of money that way. Also selling CDs on Discogs. I decided that as I go through my collection and pull stuff off the shelves to put up on Discogs, I thought some people might be interested in seeing the kind of stuff I'm putting up there instead of just pouring through my list of Discogs things. Got a lot of different things here in this box, but it's filling up pretty quickly. One of the first things I wanted to show here is one of the latest stacks I pulled off. I know that I did a show on this band with Grant and Larry, but it looks like I'm probably going to have to offload my Ween collection. As much as I like this stuff, you know, maybe just having the MP3 files is enough for me. Let me see if I could do this in some kind of order. If anyone is interested in new wave, power pop, things like that, I'll quickly go through my collection of stuff I'll be putting up. Here's two Gary Newman CDs. One is for replicas, the first recordings, which is like the early recordings, demos and stuff. And then there's one for the Pleasure Principle as well. And then, you know, I bought this to show on my show, but I have these two CDs separately, or these two albums separately on CD. So it's $9.99, the first two albums on disc. This one I'm still debating about. This is a Moon Martin twofer. You know, and I could still put it up there and then change my mind a little bit later. There is this compilation, which is now out of print. It's got the Bangles and the Dream Syndicate and the Rain Parade and the 3 O'Clock doing each other's songs. And, you know, I keep this stuff in pretty good shape. That one I bought new, I believe. And some of the stuff I did buy used. The DBs. This is the first two albums. Now, these albums have been released separately, remastered versions. Sometimes people like to have those kinds of compilations. The Rock Club. Some people may not know this. This is, I think, a 90s power pop band. But one of the gentlemen here, Ronnie Daddario, is the father of the Lemon Twigs. And this is sort of an indie power poppy. And his songs are really good poppy stuff. Tinted Windows. I think that's actually out of print. Mink DeVille, this has Coup de Grace plus Where Angels Fear to Tread, and I think some bonus tracks on there as well. Artful Dodger, that's a 2 CD compilation. I've got Culture Club. This is, I forgot the name of this album. Well, I can't read it right now. But this is an album that they put out. This is a reunion album that never got released in the U.S. It's a really good album. But I'm going to stick with the first 3 albums by Culture Club. There is a Lena Lovitch box set out, but so I decided I'd part with the Rhino first album that has the bonus tracks. That's great. Romeo Void Instincts. This is the Wounded Bird version. I actually have this as a 2 CD set with another album, so I don't need it separately. This is, I think, in the 2000s. Exploding Hearts. Great modern punky power pop. Unfortunately, most of the band died in a van crash. This has a couple bonus tracks, really good. This I got to put up. This is a Tim Finn from Spidenz. That's a soundtrack he did. It's got vocal tracks and instrumental tracks, which you can't find anywhere else. There's a group called FFS, which is Franz Ferdinand and Sparks, and it's their album, and I'll be putting that up. I got the Paley Brothers. That's a comp that came out on Real Gone Music. Rick Springfield, Hard to Hold. This is the version that came out on Razor and Tie, the reissue. And I've got a Rick Springfield called the Early Sound City Sessions. This was the original versions. A lot of these songs got overdubbed and put out on the Beautiful Feelings album, but these are the original versions without the overdubs. So those are what, Rick had submitted. I've got Bruce Woolley and the Camera Club, and this has bonus tracks on it. Now, I have a box set that Cherry Red put out, so I don't need that separately anymore. Speaking of Cherry Red, they also have a box set by Maury Wilson. So the 2 CDs here, I'm going to be putting those up on Discogs. And speaking of Cherry Red again, they put out a Peter Godwin 2 CD collection, and this Russian bootleg features tracks that are on that 2 CD set, so I don't need it. Plus, the 2 CD set is official. And here's a Heaven 17 album called Before After, which is super rare. They put it out on a little independent label, and I think that was in the 90s or so. And I'll be putting that up. Level 42, Forever Now. This is a 2 CD version of that. And I have these on a Level 42 box set. I have the album plus a bunch of bonus tracks already. Tracy Young. This is her unreleased second album. That's on a box set, so I don't need that anymore. I have Boy George and Culture Club album, which, I'm not a big fan of it per se. This is, this is interesting here. I've got a selection of ELO-related releases. Nothing by ELO, but there is ELO Part 2. There is, this is, I think, the orchestra. Yeah, this is the orchestra, which is members of ELO, and it's new material. This is ELO Part 2, another album. This is orchestra, another album. And here is a remastered version of the Kelly Grocott album. He was from ELO, and this features members of ELO, and it sounds like essentially ELO without Jeff Lynne. There's another one, Orchestra Beyond the Dream, and that's all original material. This is Badfinger Head First. This is the 2 CD version. This is the version of the album from the session tapes and then bonus tracks. So some Badfinger fans might want those additional demos and stuff. And, I prefer the version that came out on Y&T Music of that album. And then here's some Joey Molland solo. This is when he put out an album under Joe Molland. And Badfinger fans might be interested in those. Ricky Martin, if you're a fan of the Beach Boys, and Dean Martin. This is Dean Martin's son. And this was a solo album. And a lot of the Beach Boys ended up working on this record. So it's kind of a hard one to get, but it's really kind of cool. So Spies is a band that was features former members of Foreigner, and those are on the Rock Candy label. And when I put stuff up on Discogs, by the way, I don't mark them way up. I put them up, whatever the medium price is. Lou Gramm, this is his solo albums plus bonus material. Shadow Kings was Lou Gramm from Foreigner. Mr. Moonlight, which is a Foreigner album. And Alison Moyet, this is an album called The Minutes. If anyone is into the group Camera Obscura, I'll be adding their catalog. I mean, it's not their entire catalog, but there are quite a few albums by them that are just great Scottish pop. Again, these aren't because I dislike these albums. It's because I just need to make space, make money, and I have to choose what things go and what things don't. Just like this album by Andrew Gold. Unfortunately, I have to part with that as well. Here's something that's not going to be that hard to part with, although I've kept them for many, many years. This is almost the entire early John Cougar Mellencamp catalog, the remasters. These are fine, fine albums. I've got no problem with them, unfortunately. I'll get rid of Mellencamp, but I'll keep Neil Young, type thing. Moth the Hoople, this is the 2 CD thing. These are all going up on Discogs. If I find that they're not really worth that much money, that nobody will, if they're only selling for $3 or $4 a piece, I'll just put them in a box and put them in the closet. Now we're getting into like the Ski Lodge type music. So if you're into Ski Lodge, definitely check this out. A lot of stuff from the Teensville label, the Gibsons and the Cymbalines. This is a compilation. These have so many great songs on them. Really obscure, like Sunshine Pop and 60s, male, female vocals. Graham Bonnie there. I mean, lots of great, great, great records. Again, if they're so great, why am I getting rid of them? Unfortunately, I have to make room. And I have to give up some stuff. I have to make money, pay bills, make room. Girls in 45. These are all on the Teensville Records label. Super rare recordings. And when these CDs were deleted, they were deleted. So you can't get them anymore. I feature a lot of these songs on Ski Lodge. So if you're into the whole Ski Lodge vibe and you want some great soft pop, these are definitely things to get, because there's just so much great music out there that a lot of people haven't heard. And I mean, look, if I end up not selling these, I'm not going to be bummed. I mean, because they're great collections. More Teensville. Now, these are the original Sundazed Nancy Sinatra. I know some have come out on the Light in the Attic. I don't know which ones, and I don't know if they're going to do the whole catalog, but there are those. And I apologize, but it's very hot here today, so I'm trying to go through these as quick as possible so I can open the door again. Tommy Rowe. The Chicks. Like I said, this is all 60s stuff. This is a great Burt Kaempfert, 2 albums on 1 disc. I have 2 copies of that for some reason. Plus, I have a box set and all that kind of stuff. This is Tintin and Steve and Stevie. I think some of the tracks are Bee Gees written and or produced. Wind in the Willows. This is a band featuring a very young Debbie Harry. Before Blondie, obviously. Something I have 2 copies of, the Trade Winds. Here's a great compilation. 2 CDs. Just great, glorious 60s pop. The Barbara Eden album. Side 1 of it is great, or the first half it's great. Second half, not so much. A Johnny Rivers twofer. Billy J. Kramer, 4fer. I don't know if that's what you call it. Penny Arcade. This is produced by Michael Nesmith. This is during the Monkees' reign. They're more garagey than the Monkees. Garagey with a little bit of a twang. I can see why Michael Nesmith would have been into them. Speaking of Michael Nesmith, I got this Mickey Dolenz, the MGM singles collection. I got a Kurt Betcher compilation. CDs by the Stylistics. These are, I think, only available in Canada. And then this is released as 2 albums on 1 disc. And then I've got, speaking of Canada, I got the Stampeders Best of. I got a Tiny Tim compilation. I've got an Emmett Rhodes Japanese disc. There's nothing bonus on that. It's just a straight album. But what an album it is. Every Mother's Son. This is How to Stuff a Wild Bikini. I had 2 of these for some reason. So I'll sell the sealed one. The Tokens, Intercourse. Like the stereo version of it has like a weird buzz in one of the channels. But it's got the stereo and mono, I believe. And then I've got the Mercies and Mercy Beats compilation. This is a Chad and Jeremy album. This is a set by the group, the psych group Kaleidoscope from the San Francisco Bay Area. Featured David Lindley. And this is a Lee Hazelwood and Nancy Sinatra comp. And that is it. This is stuff that as soon as I get this box filled, I'm going to spend probably a good hour or 2 each day going through and listing things on Discogs. This is just showing CDs. I don't know why I made a video for it. It's kind of fun to show stuff. I mean, even if I'm getting rid of it, it's still, this is a mix of music that, I hope that people enjoy. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.